Just letting everyone know and the people watching at home that we are just having a small delay here and we will be getting underway very soon with the category. Sit tight, we'll be with you. Hey, folks in room 3 here, just keep the noise down as this can't hear over us next door, please. Hello, we are ready to go. Welcome to the creative category. We'll be with you for the next few hours, running through the images. First of all, just want to say a special thanks to Sony, and we're going to just watch a little video from them right now.
Don't go because someone tells you to go. Don't go because everyone else is going. Don't go because it would make you look good, or because you can make it look good. Cities, mountains, streets, oceans, deserts, doesn't matter. Go because you have to go. Go because it was written on your DNA. Go because it's pouring out from every scene and dream and every map that leads you to the unknown. And every thought that seems to come back to the one thing that rips you out of bed at night. And when you go, go with eyes open, go fast, go nimble, go passionately, go without sleep if you have to. However you go all in. And if you don't like the rhythm, just change the beat. As you go, remember, the world is waiting for your perspective.
Thank you very much, Sony. I'm just going to read a little bit about Sony here. So Sony New Zealand have been a sponsor of the NZIPP for many years, and in 2021 became the major sponsor of the Iris Awards. We want to thank Sony for your ongoing support. Sony's mission is to create the future of entertainment. With their innovative technology, they empower creators to express themselves in new ways. Visit Kevin, Mark, Renzo and Aaron at the Sony stand while you're here to check out the latest and greatest alpha camera gear and lenses. I also want to do a little shout out to Nikon, who are the category sponsor for the creative category this year. Nikon's award-winning Z series mirrorless range is expanding at an astonishing rate, having released 13 cameras and 44 native lenses to date. Winning the TIPA award for Best Full-Frame Professional Camera, Nikon Z8 has been a game-changer amongst professional photographers worldwide, and the new Nikon Z6 III breaks the boundaries for photographers and videographers alike. Head on over to the Nikon stand to explore a huge range of Nikon Z series cameras and lenses. Dakota, Dave and the team can show you exactly why Nikon Z series is leading the way. They also have a special guest on the stand. Nikon New Zealand creator Chloe Lodge will be available all weekend to share her experiences with the Nikon mirrorless system. Chloe is also speaking at one of the workshops during the New Zealand Photo Show at the 5x5x5 session on Saturday. If you haven't purchased your ticket for the NZ Photo Show yet, check out the website nzphotoshow.co.nz. And we'd love to see you down here. It's going to be amazing. I think now what we will do is we'll just quickly introduce our judges, and then we'll have a look at what's coming up in the category. But first of all, I just want to welcome our judges, Amber Griffin, Craig Turner-Bullock, Emma Steele, Jackie Rankin, she'll be joining us later, Catherine Williams, Mara Mashira, Peter Eastway, Rachel Smith and Sarah Lee Cobb. I'm Belinda Richards and I am here with Carla. Sorry, we only just met 10 seconds ago. Yeah, so let's get to the run through and let's see what we're in for today. So, to start that. Just watch this camera.
Ready. Action.
All right, thanks so much for that, Nikon. It wasn't the run through that I expected, but thank you for the support for this category. I think we're up to the run through now, so yeah, pay attention, guys. Excellent. Looks like we're in for a real treat this afternoon. Judges, if you could hand in your exclusions, we will get those into the system and get started. While we are waiting, we will get our we'll start getting our panel together, and hopefully they don't have an exclusion first up. How about we get Marima Shearer, Amber Griffin, Sarah Lee Cobb, Catherine Williams and Craig Turner onto the panel. All right, so we're all ready to go. Can I have the first sprint, please? And we have a score of 81, silver award. Could I have a comment for the photographer, please, Craig?
Yeah, I think this is a beautiful image, and the iridescence in this is what I really enjoy. There's a really subtle change in luminance in the bottom part of the image that is reminiscent of an insect's wings, and perhaps if that wasn't quite as subtle, that would have really come through and given us more of a message here.
Thank you, Craig. Next print, please. We have a score of 80, silver award. Excellent. Can I have a comment from Sarah Lee, please?
I think this is a lovely sort of exploration of shapes and movement in this image. What I read is a seascape moving through hills into a sunset, and just up the top where that sort of movement disappears, it also stops the continuity of all that lovely expression, so perhaps a little bit more exploration through continuing all those curves.
Thank you, Sarah Lee. Can we have the next print, please? Take a seat, judges. We're just having some issues. We'll be back with you soon. Okay, judges, this print coming up has a little bit of glue on it that that has happened after it arrived here, so we just need to ignore it, please. So we'll have the next print. We have a score of 82, silver award, and Sarah Lee would like to challenge.
I've scored this print 88, so with distinction. I find there's such an interesting storyline within this image. The way I read it is nature contained within the man-made cold constraints of the square link fence and all the metal rectangles, etc. There's been a lot of thought into how the overall design has been presented and the lovely way it rotates around the centre of that tree, and where each square within that is not just a straight shoot through a fence. They're all being manipulated, and that overarching theme of how mankind sort of controls nature or tries to, and then isolates it within this big wide expanse around it. I feel it's got a very strong narrative and it deserves to be awarded.
Thank you, Sarah Lee. Can I hear from Amber? You're at the lower end there.
Yeah, certainly. I awarded this image a high bronze with 77. I think I really appreciate all of those details, and I really like that narrative. I didn't see that narrative in it, and I was really searching for something like that. I'm not sure that I could come up to silver distinction for that. I feel like I need a little bit more, and I just feel I can come to silver, but I'm not sure silver distinction.
Thank you, Amber. Catherine.
Yeah, I was very close on 84, and the things that really appealed to me, and I didn't actually see the square link fence, so there was an incomplete piece that was sort of holding me back slightly, but I really appreciate the many formations of frames in here. There's complete and incomplete frames all throughout this, and depending on which way you look at it, it is one of those sort of Tetris pieces. And then sort of the handling within those tiny little frames. Some of them are dark, some of them are light, and then the square link fence does create this sort of disjointed effect that adds to the overall look that we're getting. I also appreciate the restrained creaminess that is in behind, and the pairing with that matte. It's very elegant presentation. I'll go up to silver with distinction.
Thank you, Catherine. Back to you, Sarah Lee.
I think we've heard just really positive things about this image, and obviously with the extra storyline in it. One of the great things about creative and fine art photography is we all see different stuff within it, so I think we should judge it as we see fit, and yeah, all the best to the photographer.
Thank you. Judges, please rescore. And we have a silver distinction, 85. Great challenge. I'm sure the photographer is very grateful. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 84. And would you like to challenge that, Catherine? Yep.
I gave this 88. I felt there was a real elegance to this, and I felt the light skimming across this building. And sort of, it's almost like one of those ones where you feel like you're almost walking and the light is moving as you see. And then there's these beautiful bird-like shapes throughout the building. And then, this, like those birds, they're not overpowering. The image is more about that building, but the birds are have that beautiful upwards flow that breaks through, but it doesn't break through and past and beyond the building, sort of anchoring us over to the bottom. The soft, gentle pastel palette in the background is just perfect. Makes a perfect piece, almost creates this real, almost two-dimensional feel, but the building itself feels very 3D. It's quite beautiful.
Thanks for that, Catherine. Can I hear from Sarah Lee? You're on the other end.
I scored this as 78. I've been listening to what you've been saying, Catherine, and I'll be coming up for those reasons you mentioned. I scored it initially as 78. There was a little confusion on my part as to the abrupt end to the birds. They have a beautiful, almost ant-like path, and then they stop, and then that very fine detail across the top of the black lines or the boxes, I just was unsure, and so it's good to hear more about this image.
Thank you, Sarah Lee. Amber?
Yeah, I think so. I'm in the middle on 83, and I think I feel quite comfortable there. There's one just little piece there's a sort of magenta-y triangle right at the bottom that just doesn't really fit with anything else within the image. And I first thought maybe it's like a bit of an Easter egg, but it would be kind of a weird place for it. And I just don't know if it's intentional or probably not. Could you explain that for me, Catherine?
Thank you, Amber. Catherine, back to you.
In many ways, Amber, that gave me a little bit more to love, because each one of those window panes is reflecting a segment, and we can see the clouds. And we all know that, if you drive around and you see a building and it hits the light, sometimes there really is that one window that hits something different. And that to me says that this is, in a category where you have complete freedom to do whatever you want. They've given the expression of what happens in reality. And I think that's quite beautiful. Sarah Lee, your comment about the birds, I think that visually, if the birds left and continued, our eye is going to leave the frame. And so I feel that it has been, handled with perfect control and precision and beautifully presented.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore. And we have a new score of 85, silver distinction. Thank you, guys. Next prints, please. And we have a score of 76, bronze award. Can I have a comment from Amber? Oh, no, Craig, you want to go? Okay.
Yeah, I think this is a really interesting way to present this image, and the slow shutter speeds added a real dynamic sense of movement. I really wish the circles lined up with the matting so much.
Thank you, Craig. Next print, please. And we have a score of 73. And can I have a comment from Amber, please?
It's lovely to see such innovative matting and a really interesting concept. Although I'm just not sure that the inclusion of the shape of the vehicle was necessary in order to tell this story. Also, with the contrast between the really old used tyre and the new one, there's a little bit of mix-up going on. There's a little bit of grass on the new tyre, and I just don't think that the communication is quite at the level it needs to be for an awards image.
Thank you for that. Can I have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 79. And Craig, would you like to challenge that?
Okay, so I gave it 82. I think that the colour palette is absolutely lovely. The lighting is really well handled. And I think these little details of the kind of filigree and gold over the top of the print just adds a little touch of magic that lifted this into silver for me.
Thank you, Craig. Em, would you like to speak to the print?
Certainly. This is a really beautifully constructed portrait of this woman. The things that held me down into the bronze range, and I am at a high bronze at 78, are I find her hand that's grasping the wheat at the bottom there, just quite awkwardly posed. And I really appreciate the colour, the cohesion of the colour palette of everything within the image, but I do just feel like the gold frame and those pieces up the top, they feel so disjointed to the rest of it. And then the final thing that held me back in bronze was that the subject's head is just not quite in the right place in that wreath. I feel like it just needs to be a little bit more central, and then it would be a much more compositionally satisfying image.
Has anybody got anything to add? No? Craig?
Well, we're on 79, so let's make a decision and take it up to 80.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore. And we have a score of 79. So we're going to review. You guys know what to do. And it stays on 79, Bronze Award. Thank you, judges. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 85, silver with distinction. Excellent. Would you like to say something, Emma?
Congratulations. This is such a beautiful piece of art. I just love the way that you've got all of the different sort of earthly elements interwoven, the mountains and the sky and the water all interwoven into a sort of ocean wave shape. It's a really clever play on movement and static shapes, and I just think it's been beautifully crafted. Well done.
Great feedback there. Can we have the next print, please? We have an initial score of 91, Gold Award, and we have a challenge from Catherine at the highest score of 93.
Okay, because my brain's exploding, or the brain of this is exploding, and it's emotionally loaded, and this sort of facial figure that we're seeing is vomiting out the red sea of blood or river or whatever we're looking at. And the eyes are crying flames, and then there's sort of this galactic feeling that goes up and to the left. It's really quite striking and powerful. And I'm almost having regret at 93 because I'm really moved by this. And also the white, like this white piece of eye there. God, it's like this void, isn't it? It's quite striking.
Thank you, Catherine. Craig, would you like to say something?
Yeah, I'm at 91, and I think you're right. I think we can sit with this, and we can probably talk about taking this even higher. I feel my heart beating with this, and I hear the sound of drums. This is a representation of a warrior of nature coming in to fight man, and the battle between humanity and nature that we're living through right now. And I think it's a really powerful image. The war paint and that red coming from the eyes, the kind of teeth ready to be gnarly and attack. I'm 91, and I think we should potentially be talking gold distinction here.
Thank you, Craig. I'd actually like to hear from Marama. You were just one of the lowest scorers.
Yeah, I actually really appreciate it, and listening to Catherine and Craig there, I can see what they see as well. I enjoy the richness of the image and the total angst that you can see in it, and I'm happy to come up.
Excellent. Amber?
So I was on 92, and like you guys, I actually think I've underscored this. I am going to come up to gold distinction. When I first saw it, I found it to be a really intriguing colour palette that was going on, and so I was sort of seeking to find. And once I found the face, I didn't see vomit. I actually felt like a kind of demonic figure licking something bloody. So maybe that says more about me than the print, but I love how we all have different interpretations of this. I love images that allow all of those different interpretations, and this is just such an interesting creation. I'm going to be scoring at 95.
Thank you, Amber. And just because we're talking gold distinction, Sarah Lee, what have you got to say?
I will be coming up with my score as well. I initially scored at 89 for the reason that it's really unsettling, but that's the strength of a good image, is that it evokes a really strong emotion. And it's really interesting that we all see the face and can't unsee the face in its many forms. So congratulations to the photographer on a really powerful image.
Well, Catherine, it sounds like you've got lots of support there.
Unsettling is definitely the word here, and I really feel like that forward tilt that we're getting on that face, it adds kind of almost this aggressive nature to it. So I was on 93. If we believe as a team it needs to get up to gold with distinction, remember I can't move my score, so you guys need to put it high enough to counteract that.
Awesome. Please rescore. And a great chat. We've got a gold distinction at 96. That's very exciting. Can I have a blank screen, please? Just going to do a little judge shuffle. Amber, could you take a break? And Peter, could you join us? Okay. Excellent. All good to go. Can we have the next print, please? Okay, we have an initial score of 86 with a challenge from Marima, who's sitting on 91.
Yeah, I really appreciate the vibrancy of this image and how difficult it is to print colours like this, especially on the paper choice that they've got as well. It's very ethereal but demonic in the same tone. It's very fluid, there's lots of movement, and I really like the way that the face is reaching up to the heavens, even though it's red. What was your score? I gave it 91.
Thanks, Marima. Could I have hear from Craig, please? You're at the other end.
Yeah, I was at 81. I saw all of those things. I see lots in the shapes. I struggled with the print and the matte. The kind of grey matte tone of the matte and the black shiny texture of the print just kept me back a little bit. But yeah, I'd like to keep listening.
Catherine?
I was on 85. The matte, for me, the matte is actually like the embers. I see a real fieriness through this, and that is translated beautifully through the paper choice as well, which as you sort of travel up that print, you really get that, it feels like a flickering flame. I feel that if this matte had been a white or a cream, then it's actually going to take away from that, and we're not in the embers anymore. But in this, there's a lot of areas that there's a lot of sort of swirling and out of focus areas, but that face is really quite stunning, isn't it? But I guess, where I sat at 85, I was probably looking I feel like really that it's silver distinction for me, and maybe I'm a little bit light in the silver distinction. To go to gold, I guess I'm looking for a slightly deeper understanding or connection with this person.
Thank you. Anyone have anything to add? No? Back to you, Marama.
Yeah, I'd invite you to come up. It looks like somebody's leaving their soul and going up to the heavens, maybe not in a positive way, but just the glowing essence of that female. I'm sure it's a female. Yeah, so come up with me.
Okay, thank you, judges. Please rescore. And we have a silver distinction at 87. Thank you. We'll have the next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 80. And Craig, would you like to challenge that?
Yeah, I'll take it. I just thought this was, just thought about the time when I was working with these birds a lot and the aftermath of a lorikeet party. And I just thought that they had such a sense of humour. The colours and the patterns and the textures through this are really lovely. I like the little addition of the butterflies, just to you kind of place this in a rainforest. It's like a symphony of rainforest, rainbow lorikeet graffiti, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought the design was nicely done. I love this little guy poking his head in at the bottom left there, like, what's gone on? What did I miss? Yeah, so I was at 86, and I'd love to get this a few more points if we can.
Excellent. Catherine, you're at the lower end.
Yeah, I was at 77. I've never been to a rainbow lorikeet party yet. I appreciate the colour, the vibrancy, the energy in this. I feel that the lorikeets have not been cut out properly or well. There's a little bit of black kind of surrounding their heads, and that was kind of holding it down from getting an overall cohesiveness with this. And I guess like visually, it's a little bit erratic, and that's yeah. I'm at 77. I'm probably relatively comfortable there, but I'll listen a little bit.
Thank you, Catherine. Peter, have you got anything to add?
I guess it comes down to a matter of degree and how we all respond to different things, because I walked up and I love the colour. I love the way that the eye gets bounced around the frame. And then when I got in close, I was actually a little bit disappointed because I felt that maybe the blacks could be a little bit stronger. I felt that some of the tonal mapping wasn't quite right, where there are areas which are lighter, which perhaps would have been better darker. But then I sat back and I thought, the photographer knows what he or she is doing, and it's their choice. And that's why I scored in the middle of silver, because I felt, well, that's their style, it's their way of taking things, and I couldn't argue with that. So that was why I was on 83.
Excellent. Back to you, Craig. Oh, Sarah Lee, have you got something to add? No? So, Craig?
If you're in the middle silver, then you can hover up a little bit more into the middle silvers, I reckon, Peter. Catherine, you said erratic, and that is exactly the life of a rainbow lorikeet in their colony. They are busy, they're non-stop, they're noisy, they're rowdy, and they behave very erratically. The cutting out doesn't bother me at all. It's very stylized and it's very graffiti-like, so I think that's probably intentional. So, yeah, silver distinction would be fantastic.
Excellent. Please rescore, judges. And we now have a score of 83, silver. Good discussion. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a majority 3 score of 80, a silver award. Would somebody like to make a comment to help the photographer? Thanks, Mara.
This really reminds me of H.R. Geiger's work from Species, and you can see some little figures inside that insect there as well. So I think it's really creative and it makes my skin crawl. So congratulations to the photographer.
Excellent. Thank you. Can we have the next print, please? Just while the judges are looking at the print and deciding their scores, just got a little message here from our major sponsor. Sony have a wonderful competition running across this event. Find the QR code around the venue, scan the code to complete the online quiz, and all correct entries go into the draw to win a $500 Sony store voucher. You can find out more about it on the signs around the venue. Make sure you stop by the Sony trade stand from Friday to see more from the team at Sony. And we have a score of 76, Bronze Award. And can we hear from Sarah Lee and how the photographer could improve this?
Yeah, congratulations to the photographer on your Bronze Award. This is a very interesting image, and I love the graphic nature of it. I do feel like there's a wee bit of a storyline here that I'm just not understanding. The correlation between the man, the urban environment, and then the trees on the outside as well. So perhaps a little bit more clarification if there is a narrative or a storyline there for us to read. Just make it really obvious.
Thank you, Sarah. Great advice. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 80, silver award. And Catherine, you seem to enjoy this one.
I did indeed. Congratulations to the photographer. Just such a gentle beauty in here. And yet I find myself looking at this and asking a lot of questions, and I think that's really exciting to bring something like that. You know, this piece feels like it's embedded in ice, and as you go up to it, I almost feel like I want to pluck those centre petals out. There's a real feeling of depth. It's been really successful. In terms of improvement, not a lot to improve. I did just question that sort of cutout piece or what appears like a indentation in the top that had quite a hard sort of rectangular shape, as opposed to everything else, which had a sort of calm curves in it. But congratulations.
Thanks, Catherine. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 80, a silver award. And can we have a comment from Marima?
I find the paper choice really interesting on this, because it's not until you move around that it's quite glassy, like you would imagine the pond or the water being quite glassy. I find it interesting also that the bird is quite still, but the little girl is moving, and it's quite unsettling. I find it quite unsettling. So I'm interested to hear more about it, but I actually really enjoy what the artist has achieved.
Thank you, Marima. We'll accept that score. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 84, a silver award. And that's... Catherine, would you like to... Oh, sorry. Sarah Lee, you want to do it? No worries.
Yeah,
Sarah Lee's
I
gonna
scored this
challenge.
an 88, so with distinction. The colour, the intensity, the beautiful movement, and then the sharpness through all their faces. There's so much for us to take in terms of detail with this image. And I think one thing I enjoyed the most about it was the expressions on the figure as she goes from red with the anger and orange through to the calmer colours with the blues and the greens, and then that ethereal angel shape with the white as it's lifted up to the top of a beautiful, very almost religious sort of arch shape. It's really intriguing, and there's lots of different things that we could see into it. I think it would keep us captivated for a long time. So I think it deserves to be scored quite highly.
Thanks, Sarah Lee. Marama, you were our lowest scorer here.
Sorry. No, I actually really appreciate the colour and the tones. I am unsure about the matte compared to the glossiness of the image. So if somebody could talk me into why that might be, that would be helpful.
Thank you, Marama. Catherine, would you like to?
Sure. I gave this 88, and I mean, I guess I certainly ask a lot of questions here, and there were a couple of things that I was initially a little bit stuck on, and that was sort of that white banding across the central, the white across the central figure. And I thought, is this a positive or a negative? But I guess that alludes to the sense of light shining down, and it feels like this sort of ascension up, and that gives it a depth. And that sort of figure comes out and forward. And then, you sort of have that three-headed figure through there. It adds interest from all ways you look at it. And there's just so much expression through this. I get a lot of turmoil. I don't see this as sort of beauty. It seems really traumatic, this experience. Also, the paper choice and the metallic matte are quite bold. Yes. And then there's also this, actually the colours are a bit like stained glass in a church, and then you've got the window arcing shape that you'd also get in a church.
Thanks, Catherine. Craig, you've got something to add?
Yeah, I see this as a struggle, a person's struggle with their sexuality, their gender identity, and their faith. And I see that coming through in those sides, through those rainbow colours, and into the finding their peace and ascending. I really enjoy the paper choice, but again, this map detracts from the image so much, and we have to judge what's in front of us. And that's why I'm down at 82, and I'm struggling because of the presentation to come up into the distinction range, even though I really want to, because the image is really speaking to me.
Thank you, Craig. Sarah Lee.
Thank you for everyone's thoughts. Just to talk about that matte, there are 101 tones of black on black, and I agree that it is something that you see, and it's very hard to unsee. Had the matte been white, we would have focused on the black instead of the colours of the image. And so I think it's a good choice, perhaps not perfect, but I think it's, if it was perfect, we'd be looking at gold. And as it is, I think it deserves silver distinction, 88 or higher.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore. And we have a score of 85, silver distinction. Great discussion there. Can we have the next print, please? And we have a score of 81, silver award. Brain malfunction then. Would somebody like to make a comment to help this photographer? Peter?
Yes, I defer to the photographer and the photographer's intention, because I look at this and I think, oh, it's very flat lighting. It's very banal. And then I thought, that's the word, isn't it, eh? And so it's very intentional, and composition's good. It's got me thinking. I've got all sorts of memes I could write about this, which aren't appropriate for discussion just at the moment. And I think that alone, the photographer knows what they're doing, and I think it's been well executed.
Thanks for that, Peter. Can I have a blank screen, please? I'm just going to do a little judge reshuffle. Marama, could you take a break, please? And also, Sarah Lee, can you also take a break? And we'll have Emma and Jackie join us, please. 80, I think. 81.
I want you to behave, Jackie.
I don't know if she can do that. Asking a bit much.
I wanted to talk to you a bit as well.
All right, judges, let's have the next print. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 80 and a challenge from Craig.
I'm on 88. I would invite the judges to walk around this image and look up and down at it. I believe there's some kind of layering effect here. It looks different from different angles. And it's a petri dish of, I don't know what it is that's growing in here, but there's something that's growing and moving. And I feel like it's very scientific. It's very visceral and feels like blood pumping and moving. And I think that is quite innovative, and I would like to have a chat about it and give you a bit more time to look at this.
Thank you, Craig. Catherine, I'd love to hear what you've got to say.
Yeah, I was on 73, and I have missed the layering which you do see when you get on quite a strong angle to it. In terms of, it appears like it's printed on multiple layers and then layered as a complete piece. I guess I'm not sure how that technique has expressed a complete piece. And I probably find at the base where the red's kind of intersecting with all the tangle, it feels like that's almost misting over the harshness. I think it's just one of those ones that I need to sit back and hear what other people have to say and the interpretation to try and understand, because I certainly feel that it is innovative.
Thanks, Catherine. Jackie, do you have anything to add?
I scored at 82 because of the kind of visceral impact it had. It reminded me of Matagari and spikes, and the spikes, I guess, gives you a sense of blood. But the webbing that you look into those plants, it's very difficult to find a space that that has control, and this is really, it has a really sense of out of controlness, and I guess it's the emotional impact that I went into the 80s for.
Thanks for that, Jackie. Goodness me. Yeah, apparently. Craig, right of reply.
Yeah, Catherine, I agree about that kind of fading away. I find that hard to reconcile, which is why I'm not in the 90s. And yeah, I think just the innovative techniques and the visceral nature of this is what draws it up beyond silver and into distinction level. So let's give it a few more points.
And we have a silver award at 83. Okay, can I... Oh no, that's all right. Can I have the next print, please? Can I have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 77. Bronze award. Can we have a comment from Catherine?
Yeah, this is a really interesting piece that has an emotional pull in terms of the print quality. As you walk around, you do really feel like it's written in chalk. It asks a lot of questions. I just wonder, I'm actually finding it quite hard to say what to do to improve this, which is what I should really be doing. Potentially just maybe a little bit more depth through I know that we've got brightness, but a bit more depth and richness through those colours through that centre. And I was curious to why heaven was spelt incorrectly. But a good curious.
Thank you for that, Catherine. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 79. And we've got a highest. Yeah, Craig, would you like to take the challenge? Yep. Thank you.
I gave this 84. I appreciate the texture and the depth through this print, and I don't know exactly what I'm looking at, but I feel like this is what the specialists would see when they are doing a colonoscopy or something. I feel like the endoscope has been used to create this image.
Okay. Can I hear from Jackie, please?
Yeah, okay. I scored it 73. I guess it was kind of felt like it was murdered by all those blacks and the black vignette around it, where the inside was delicate. Maybe it sort of looks like mushrooms and a webbing, and I felt that was the emotion, but why was it counterbalanced with such a dark black edges that, but so if you can work that out for me, I'll be listening.
Well, you had a little bit of support there from Peter.
Yeah, I struggled with exactly that, Jackie. I guess it just becomes a matter of degree, and I was thinking of Edward Weston's prints and how I looked at those these days and think there are certain limitations in some of the things that he's done, but who am I to say that as a mere mortal? So I agree. I think you either got to embrace the vignette, and I just thought, well, on the scale of things, it was still worthy of a silver, because I don't know whether I'd go as far as a colonoscopy, but there are certain things in there that certainly did get me thinking a little bit.
Thanks, Peter. And Craig.
Yeah, I think it's a great image because you can interpret it in different ways. Jackie sees mushrooms. I'm seeing somebody's insides. That heavy vignette also speaking about like the endoscopes. I think again that heavy vignette is what you see in those kind of images, and that's what made me go inside. So we're on 79. We've got to make a decision either way again. So let's give it in a score in the 80s.
Excellent. Judges, please rescore. And we have a new score of 81, silver award. Excellent. I'm sure the photographer appreciates those comments. Can we have the next print, please? We have a score of 77, bronze award. Jackie, you'd like to challenge?
Well, I scored it at 82, and I think it's a really strong abstract of flax, perhaps, with the curves have been twisted, and the photographers has really played with colour to get it to a point where they really love it. And I could feel the composition being very strong, and went at 82.
Thank you, Jackie. Craig, do you have anything to add there?
I guess that I gave it a 74. I really enjoy the colour palette. It gives it a kind of iridescence, but I felt that the design of it all let me down, and I wanted the diagonals to be diagonal in those corners, and they just didn't quite get there for me. But I'm listening.
And Peter?
Yeah, I was just going, I'm with you, Craig. I just maybe even cropping the image. I find that tonally my eye's being taken out of the image around the sides, whereas if you come in on the middle, two-thirds, middle half of the image, and suddenly the tonality works better, and you've still got those wonderful shapes and colours.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was a kind of positive, negative thing that was going on in my head, and I can see it here. It's going a bit more negative for you, but I still think it's got some power in there, and every choice that's been made there has been made deliberately, and I think that the yellow, golden tones in the middle are strong enough to hold the eye within the frame. Well done.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore. And the score has stayed the same at 77. Bronze award. Can we have a next print, please? We have an initial score of 86, and Peter will be challenging that because he's sitting on 95.
Now, I am getting a little bit old and this photo is very small, but I assure you my eyesight is 20/20 and I could actually see the detail. I would like to see a bit bigger. But when I got into it, it's dreamy, it's ethereal, it creates all of these questions about, I mean, the use of the zebra and it looks like the mummy or whatever it is. There might be some other meaning. I don't know what that other meaning is. I just know how I responded to it. And I just have to say that tonally, visually, everything worked for me. I hate triptychs, but this one just sits there and works. And it's basically hitting me in the face and saying, Peter, you're going to like this no matter what. So that's an emotive response. As a judge, I can't explain it better than that, except to say I thought it was a bloody good shot.
All right, Emma, you were down the other end.
I gave this an 80. I really enjoyed it for similar reasons. I love the lighting and the fine art quality about it. I was probably just struggling a little bit with the blur in each of the images, which is obviously intentional. That's probably where I was sort of sitting with that, but I'm listening.
And Craig, you've got something to add?
Well, they're just the go faster stripes. Well, they're the go faster stripes. Why else would you have a mummy on a zebra? And that's the blur, they're faster when they're together. I really enjoy this story. I scored it 88. I could definitely see myself coming up. I think what we've got here is like, come on boy, let's go. Then it's like, whoa, we've got there. And then it's like, thanks, we got there safely and we're not dead. So I think there's a really quirky, humorous story here. I love the dreaminess and the childlike nature of this as well. Although I suppose for a childlike nature, it's also quite dark in a way, but I enjoy that too. So it's a little bit weird, it's a little bit twisted, and I think it's really fun.
Okay. Catherine.
Yeah, and I guess I'm at 84, and maybe I'm more like asking a question in terms of, so the three frames, I think the central frame and the right frame, the content with them are both fabulous, and also there's space around for those to breathe. The first frame, I'm fighting a little bit with how close the zebra mummy is to the circle. And I'm thinking, well, am I being too hard on it for that? But that's probably just letting it down a wee bit for me. But I absolutely think, I can come up probably into a silver distinction. In terms of, the presentation is seriously innovative, but, we'll see.
Has anyone got anything to add? No? Peter, back to you.
No, well, everybody's got a different starting point, and it's not for me to tell you what to score. I'm just saying that I liked it at 95. Thank you.
All right, let's rescore.
You need me to put mine in again?
Yeah, just press submit. And we have a gold at 90 with the majority. I'm sure we've got a very happy photographer at home right now. Can we have the next print, please? We've got some split decisions here. We have a silver award at 80, and Jackie would like to challenge that.
I scored it 86. I think it's deserving a little bit higher. The cinematic quality, I felt I was on another planet, on Dune or something like that, where we've got triple suns, and with these guys, these surfers, perhaps going off to surf the dunes. The deliberate use of red through there is an emotive impact. I don't really understand what that red is that I'm going towards, but they're going for it. So, 86.
Thank you, Jackie. Catherine.
Yeah, I was on 72 with this one. I feel the subjects, the shapes of them are wonderful, how they curve into each other. The sweep, the red that's above, is very dominating. To me, it dominates everything that's in there. Yeah.
Okay. Peter, you're sort of in the middle there.
Yeah, I suppose that the concept and the idea I thought was great, and that's why I put it into the silver range. I probably struggle to go up into the silver with a distinction because of some aspects of the execution. I find the figures a little bit too close to the right-hand side. That's for my sentimentalities. And looking at the print, the sky just seems to be a little bit muddy, and I feel that, you know, maybe tonally it could have been lightened, and that way it might have held things together. But I think the photographer knows what they're doing, and I think the composition's very strong, but apart for those little things. Yeah. The concept's very strong, I prefer to say. Jackie.
Right, so yeah, 86 still. I think the placement of that red dot is on a horizon line. You can just see a sense of distance where the figures are going. Really well composed. Had impact for me at 86.
Thank you, Jackie. Can we please rescore, judges? And we now have a 82 silver award. I just have had a request that we don't lean into our microphones too much, because apparently we're the rowdy room this time. We're drowning other people out, so just, yeah, no need to get too close.
Just my age, I can't hear anything.
Can we have the next print, please? We have a score of 78. Peter? No? Oh,
I'll challenge it because I've scored at 83 and the photographer would love me to do so. I just looked at the scoring range and I, again, from my starting point, love the colour, love the use of the black mount, the way the colour just sort of radiates from that. Yes, I would like to see perhaps a stronger centre of interest and maybe a little bit more control over certain areas, but I do love the fluidity of the water or whatever it is that we're looking at, and that for me was what put me into the silver range, but there we go.
thank you, Peter. Can I hear from Jackie, please?
Come on, Jackie.
Sitting next to Peter, his silver didn't rub off onto me because I'm on 73. I think it was the lack of focus on the movement of the subject. Well, it appears to be movement of subject. Maybe it's flax again. But the diagonal line that's also the bright area going across from left to right, counterbalancing that. I couldn't sort of bring that all together into a silver. I found that the paper stock, the matte paper stock, wasn't helping the colours to really illuminate the way I would respond to them properly.
Thank you, Jackie. Emma, you were right on the silver there.
Yeah, I gave it 80 silver for its creative, all the merits of the creative. Well, when I stood back, I could kind of see a bird flying over a river with the wings being the yellow, the highlight. And then when you get up close, you think it's flax and it's rippling and it's moving. And that appealed to me. So I've awarded it 80 for those reasons.
Okay. Back to you, Peter.
So I can see I wasn't Robinson Crusoe, so that's good to know. I've got some support out there. I think, as I said before, if you can get past needing a centre of interest and just take it as an emotive image for a pattern shot, for want of a worse term, come up to silver.
Thank you, guys. Please rescore. We now have a score of 80, silver award. Thank you very much. We'll accept that score. Next print, please. Pretty even scoring. We've got a silver award at 81. And Emma, did you want to say something about the print?
Yeah, I really like this print, how it's printed. It's definitely got a lot of textures going on in there, and it's slightly haunting. And when you go up there, you can kind of see the face, and it's definitely got a centre that drags you into it. Well done to the photographer.
Thank you, Emma. Can I have a blank screen for a moment? Craig and Catherine, did you want to take a break? And I will get Amber and Sarah Lee back on the panel, please. All right. Next print, please. And we have a score of 76, Bronze Award. And Amber, do you have something you could say to help the photographer?
Congratulations on the Bronze Award. It's a really interesting piece with the ghost-like quality of the birds that are in there. I just feel as though this was a little bit of a missed opportunity to introduce some really beautiful movement into a shot like this. So perhaps just consider the balance of the elements, the birds versus the backdrop in something like this, and maybe consider injecting a little bit of movement.
Thanks for that, Amber. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 80, Silver Award. Peter would like to say something for the photographer.
Yeah, just wonderful subject, really nice execution. Two little things. One, just down the bottom of the stalk of the leaf, whether it's missing a bit of detail. And two, is that the best background? Because we've got so much happening in the subject that maybe a completely plain or some slightly different background is going to really make that sing.
Great advice. Can I have the next print, please? Okay, judges, we have a score of 79. And Amber, you are able to challenge, please.
Yeah, I scored this a silver on 83, and I think the reason that I felt it sits in silver is just because of how masterfully this has been created. It's such an appealing and classic colour palette with the red and then all the neutrals and the little hints of gold. But the way that we have that one point perspective going down into the centre of the triangle is just so perfectly captured or created. So I think that we need to give this a few more points.
Thank you, Amber. Peter, did you have something you wanted to add?
My initial thought was that we've seen so many spiral shots, where is the point of difference? And then listening to you, I thought, actually, I like the way the stairs have been represented. Triangular is different from spiral and square. I think I'll give it a couple more points.
Thanks, Peter. Anybody have anything to add? No? Jackie?
Oh yeah, I was on the border. I was going in, out, in, out. I think because of the red dot in the middle being bring a brighter tone of red. That's what sort of dropped me out. But I'm still listening. I'll maybe come up.
Back to you, Amber.
Everybody needs a centre, and that red dot is what holds us into the centre of this beautiful piece of art. So I don't think that we've got much holding us back. Let's give this a silver.
Judges, please rescore. And we have a silver award at 80. Thank you, judges. Can I have the next print, please? So we have an initial score of 86 with a challenge from Peter, who's sitting on 93.
So I'm a sucker for this sort of work, I guess. I love the Renaissance period of art and the masters, and I'm not saying that this is looks the same, but it's derivative, it's reminiscent for me. We can sit and talk about how maybe the sleeves are a little bit overlit, but I sit back and I think of a Botticelli and how all of the tones and colours were used, and it's intentional. I can't see anything that's not intentional. And this is why I've responded the way I have. I think the colour palette is gorgeous. I love the fact that these subjects are iconic. The placement of the hand, it's all stylised. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I love this. So that's why I've gone higher than silver and gone into the gold range.
Thanks for that, Peter. I'd love to hear what Amber has to say.
Yeah, I think I have underscored this. I gave this an 82. I do also really enjoy it. I think the things that held me in silver were I feel like the skin is really overlit. It's just sort of too bright compared to the rest of the image. And also I was a little bit confused about the expressions on the subjects' faces. It feels like, body language wise, it feels like a real expression of love, but then their faces just look sort of so awkward and pained. So maybe that's actually a good thing. I will be coming up. I'm not sure I can get to gold, but I'll definitely be coming up.
Thank you, Amber. You've got a little bit of support there with Emma. She's sitting on 88.
Yeah, I gave this 88. I enjoyed it for similar reasons to Peter. The faces being lit, I think that draws you in, and it is intentional. It's very, everything in here does seem intentional, and the colour palette is gorgeous, and even the material on her golden robe. I think the pained look is in a real intense love look, I feel. There seems to be a lot going on there, and I think they've printed it beautifully and it's presented really well. I'm happy to come up.
Wonderful. Have you got something to add, Jackie?
Just quickly, I was distracted by the bigness of the hands and the brightness of those hands. I would have loved them to have been, is it about the hands or the faces? I know it's the faces because we can't help but look at those, but I'm still, I was on 84 and I'm looking at a distinction at this stage.
Back to you, Peter.
Yeah, everybody comes to it with their own degree of scoring. I just suggest that we look at the image as part of the creative category and not necessarily a classic portrait. That's my suggestion.
Excellent. Judges, please rescore. And we have a silver distinction at 88. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 83. And Jackie would like to challenge that?
I scored 88. The sense of cityscape, an environment being made completely by the photographer, lots of good choices, rhythm and pattern, contrasts and differences from saturated to desaturated, and space, smooth and hard and soft and delicate. I can see it as an art piece, 88.
Amber, you were in the bronze range.
Oh, I feel mean. I think I just really struggle to find something to get excited about with this image. I scored it a 77, and I think for that like highly constructed nature of it, that was just one of the things that kind of held me down a little bit. I feel I just need a bit more excitement to bring it into silver.
Thanks, Amber. Peter, did you have anything to add?
I was just going to say I was umming and ahhing about going gold for this, but I thought I'd be called the gold kid. But the thing that worried me, I guess, concerned me was maybe just the framing and maybe a little bit off the bottom that created a frame that perhaps helped accentuate the flow of the graphics from left to right there. But Jackie and I are actually very unusual in that we're in agreement today.
Back to you, Jackie.
If you were to consider this as a ballerina on a stage and the movement of a subject through a space as being have pattern and rhythm, then perhaps that will get you going. And it's certainly got space to move into on the right. So yeah, we're up on 88, and we're really asking you to celebrate this one.
Excellent. Thank you, Jackie. Judges, please rescore. And we have a silver distinction at 86. Can I have a blank screen, please? Jackie and Peter, could you both take a break? And we will get Marima and Catherine back on the panel. Don't go anywhere. All right. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 81. And Catherine would like to challenge.
Yeah, I was on 88. This really hard sort of outside, which feels like a pinhole, feels like, it's really so overtly deliberate. And then as you go in there, you're rewarded with all these textures, and it's really hard to see and make out where one piece kind of finishes and one starts. You've got the still grass, you've got the sort of the sweep and the upwards rising of the grass and the movement on the right-hand side, which sweeps you around. The beautiful connection with the hills on the left to the building on the right that just takes you across. And then you're really held down and in by the clouds. I think there's a lot of rich reward and texture in this image, finished with a beautiful, warm monochromatic.
Thank you, Catherine. Can I hear from Amber, please?
I really enjoyed all of those things that you just spoke about with this as well, Catherine. I think the thing that I just got so distracted by with this print is the difference. It looks like it's been extended at both of the edges, and there's a real difference in the blacks just on the outside there, and I have no idea why that would be like that. I don't know that it's an intentional choice by the photographer. but I just I feel that that distracts from the beauty that's within the centre of that frame.
Thank you, Amber. You do have a little bit of support from Marima. Have you got something to add?
I think with the bits on the outside, I noticed those too, but if the intentional block in the middle wasn't there, I think that wouldn't be supported by those pillars on the outside, but because it is there, and the doorway and the picture frames, the window frames, I think that makes it okay.
And anybody have anything to add? Back to you, Catherine.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree about those side panels. I noticed that too, and initially I thought, am I bothered by that? And then I felt like Marima in that we've got this layering that comes through, and this. We're not meant to understand every piece that is in here. And I almost took it like this could be like, a photograph laid on something, like, there's multi-layers and tiers to this. And there's just a lot of reward and richness and texture. And, it's just a really different presentation of it.
Thank you, Catherine. Judges, please rescore. And we have moved up a couple of points to 83, Silver Award. Can I have the next print, please? And we have an initial score of 83 with an automatic challenge from Emma, who's sitting at 90.
Yeah, I really love this image. It's got that slightly ethereal with the softness on the outside, whether it's in ice or smoke or something. And then you've got these really detailed parts coming through that really sort of come out of the image and give it a lovely that 3D feel to it. I felt it was really well handled, beautifully printed. Tell me why you're not up there with me.
Okay, Amber, tell her why.
I gave this image 78, a high bronze, for those reasons. I think that the texture of the frozen, I'm not sure if they're pine cones or some kind of like berry. I think the texture is really beautiful in there. I don't know. I think that the whole thing feels like it's sort of sunken within. It's not sort of central within the crop, and it just feels just a little bit lacking something. I don't know. It's like a little bit kind of murky around the outsides, and I feel like with that beautiful texture, it would be really nice to have gone in much closer and really focused on that texture.
Thanks, Amber. Can I hear from someone in the middle, maybe Marima?
Yeah, I really like the almost like a stencil quality, the contrast between the very sharp images and the textured flowers in the background. I do have a problem with the composition. I want there to be more space on the right-hand side and potentially not a rectangular crop, possibly an oval. May have worked better to give that more space on the right-hand side.
Thanks, Marima. Has anybody anything else to add? No? Back to you, Emma.
Yeah, well, I think it's not perfectly balanced, and when you look at the actual individual pods, and that they're not perfect. It's sort of it is sort of replicating what it is, and the murkiness. I think that's where the perhaps the stalks or the underneath this ice or that's what gives it a little bit more depth, shows the layers. Yeah, see what you can do, guys. Come up a bit.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore. Oh, I should do my job first, right? All right, give that a go. And we've gone up a little bit to 85, a silver distinction. Thanks for that. Can I have a blank screen, please? I'm just going to do a quick judge change. Amber, could you please step off and take a break? And Craig, can you join us? We will have the next print, please. Yeah. Yeah, we know. It's getting fixed. And we have a score of 83. And Sarah Lee would like to challenge.
I scored this in 87, so with distinction. There's so many wonderful things that we can see into this image, obviously being conceptual. Everyone has a different interpretation. To me, I see a piranha biting, with its mouth to the left biting a prey or something. Those beautiful ocean blues, the deep darkness on the edges really allude again to that ocean scene. There's also a really interesting play with what appears to me as two different layers of paper, where there's a sparkle coming through, but there's still those really rich blacks by what looks like translucent, and it creates a wee bit of an echo or a shadow that really pumps up all the detail.
Yep, we're just going to pause for a moment while we just get a little tech issue fixed. Can I have a blank screen, please?
That's okay. We got told off for talking too loudly, so thank you.
Just with the folks watching at home, the images are not coming up on your live stream at the moment. We're working on it, and hopefully we'll be back very, very soon. Can I have a blank screen, please? while we're waiting for this issue to be fixed, I'm going to ask some of the judges to introduce themselves. Catherine, would you like to go?
Sorry. It's coming back to bite me. I'm Catherine Williams. I'm a photographer based here in Christchurch, predominantly a portrait photographer. I'm 2 times winner of the NZIPP Iris Awards and have had category wins in portrait, documentary and wedding categories over the years. Absolutely honoured to be here and involved in the judging. Thank you.
Glad to have you. Marima.
Hi there, I'm Marima Shearer. I'm from the King Country in the North Island, from Te Kuiti, which is close to where the glow rooms are, for those people that have never heard of it before. I teach art and photography at high school, so I'm having a few days off at the moment, which is amazing, and it's great to be here with everybody.
Excellent. And Sarah Lee.
Hi everyone, I'm Sarah Lee Cobb. I am a studio portrait photographer from Whangarei, Northland, which is the top of the North Island of New Zealand, multi-award winning in predominantly portrait categories. I've also won the Northland Business Excellence category in terms of the creative and the micro-business industries. And I've hosted workshops regionally in Auckland, Tauranga, nationally, Nelson, and online through the Professional Photographers Business Network.
Thanks for that, Sarah. And Emma.
Hi, I'm Emma Steele here from also Canterbury photographer. I have a portrait studio just on the outskirts of town. I have, sorry, we're just getting a computer fixed in front of me. I've been a finalist in the illustrative category for 3 years and a finalist in the pet photography last year. And I'm a master photographer and a associate portrait masters.
Thank you, Emma. And Craig.
Hi, I am Craig Turner-Bullock. I'm a dog photographer based in Christchurch, right here in Christchurch. And I have been the winner of the Portrait Open category and the Animal category here at the Iris Awards. And along with my client work through my business photography, I also run Unleashed Education, teaching pet photographers how to be better at their craft with my good friend and business partner, Charlotte Reeves, who is based in Brisbane.
Thanks, Craig. We've got a lot of experience on this panel, and it seems like we are almost ready to go, yeah? And we're ready behind the scenes too. Fantastic. Hopefully you can see it on the live stream now. Let's bring that print back, please. And Sarah Lee, we were in the middle of challenging, so we'll get you to start from the start. Have a look at the print again if you need to.
I remember everything I said the first time. All right, so I scored this image in 87. I love the graphic nature of it. To me, what I see is a fish or a piranha with its mouth open to the left, eating its prey in this big dark void in the centre of its mouth, its little tail kicking out to the right. The beautiful deep ocean navy, the blues, the depth that really creates this natural vignette that keeps us within the centre of the image. I love all the fine details around the whites and the blacks. It almost looks as though it could be a coral reef or an atoll or something. And then it also has, to me, a two sort of paper effect where there is a glittery paper behind showing through a translucent that has a wee bit of an echoing effect and a little bit of movement as well, which just adds another dynamic layer to this image. And I'd love to hear what all the other judges can see in it as well.
Okay, Marima, you're in the bronze range.
Yeah, I was down on a 78 because I didn't know what I was looking at, so I needed my professional buddies here to help me see what they have been seeing, so I can hear what Sarah Lee said. So I'm actually, coming up because the print quality is beautiful, the colours are really vibrant, it's really punchy, and it's exciting.
Thank you for that. Craig, did you have something to add?
Yeah, just real quick, because I saw an angelfish facing to the right, and now you've pointed out a piranha. I kind of see the anglerfish, you know, with that dangly thing. I can see a really interesting juxtaposition of, you know, good versus evil in this as well now, looking from the fish this way and the fish that way. So I am going to come up.
Excellent. Does anybody have anything to add? No? Back to you, Sarah Lee.
So I think we can all really see the overarching marine theme running through this image, and I think if you deem it worthy, up that score, and yeah, a silver distinction is what we should award it.
Wonderful. Please rescore. Sarah Lee, can you re-enter your score, please? And we have a silver distinction at 86. Next print, please. And judges, we have a score of 79. Marama, would you like to take that challenge, please?
Sure can. I really enjoy the complementary colours, the fluidity, the intentional in-camera movement, and the way that it's sectioned. I really like the way that it's been cropped so that it's coming off the edge of the frame as well. The shapes are really interesting. So there's landscapes within the landscapes as well.
Okay, can I hear from Craig, please?
Yeah, I'm at 74 on this one, and I think it's been presented and printed really nicely. But I'm just really disappointed that the elements are just mirrored on both sides, and there's nothing new on either side to explore. It just seems like it's a technique for the sake of the technique, and I would love to see different elements in either side of those landscapes there.
Thank you, Craig. Sarah Lee.
I scored this initially in 82. I see both points of view. I love, for me, it's very reminiscent of the Sydney Opera House and the curves and the way the light plays off the roofs with the sky behind. But I agree with Craig, is missed opportunity to continue that movement from left all the way through to right with more variation. So yeah, I'm listening, and I may come up or I may stay the same. I'm undecided yet.
Mysterious. Back to you, Marama.
I just really enjoy it as a creative image, and yeah, congratulations to the photographer.
Okay, let's rescore, please. And judges, we have a score of 79, so we'll be going to review. Let me just hit the button. And the print stays at 79, Bronze Award. Okay, next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 76. Bronze award. And Catherine, could you help this photographer out with a comment?
Sure. There's something really visually exciting about this. It is quite hard to read in terms of, are we seeing a layering of other people's artwork? And I think there is something of an organic nature in behind, and maybe I just need to see a little bit more of that come through to kind of get a deeper understanding, and potentially a little bit more space to breathe around the graphic imagery.
Thank you, Catherine. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a silver distinction at 85. Can I have a comment for the photographer, please? Emma? Yep.
Yeah, this is a beautiful image. I love the flow through it. The movement of the dancers are beautiful, and the flicks of the dresses and the arms, and it's really connected. Initially, I was a bit trying to figure out the middle image. I was sort of waiting to see the form of the body, but it's actually, when you look at it from further back, it's almost sort of a little flower-like, so it's really, really nice to have that as well. But beautifully printed, beautiful tones, really well done to the photographer.
Thank you, Emma. Can we have the next print, please? This next print has a mark on it that was done during handling, so please ignore it. And it seems like we're all in agreement here. The score is 83, a silver award. Can I have a comment for the photographer, please? Catherine?
Yeah, congratulations to the photographer. What a beautiful, milky, creamy texture to the print, and the sublime expression, and all that beautiful texture through the hair. It's really lovely. The only thing that I sort of thought is through the bridge of the nose, where that shadow is quite dark. I find myself a little bit drawn to that. But overall, fantastic work.
Thank you, Catherine. Can we have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We've got a score of 81. And Catherine will be challenging that one. Thank you.
Yeah, I put this at 87. You know, the composition to me is really quite superior in terms of leading us into the frame. All the elements have been included so intentionally with such precision, from the bottle and the jar on the top left, the light that's kind of angling in just in frame, those window frames, the beautiful light cast on the floor there, which is, you know, brings that sort of diagonal direction in. And then there's this medley of chairs, of chair legs, a little chair leg peeking in on the side, and the light sort of hitting through the door. We're rewarded by beautiful, rich textures. And I get just a sense of, you know, curiosity about I want to go and explore this place myself. So this really takes me there. And also the overall print quality is quite beautiful.
Thank you, Catherine. I'd like to hear from Emma. You're in the bronze range.
I put this in the bronze range. I was probably just wanting a little bit more. I was wanting to look in and just see something that kind of grabbed my interest, but I'm listening, and the more I look at it, I'm enjoying it, so I'll definitely come up. Oh, I just wanted to add that the sort of on the door, you can see sort of what looks like bird shit down it. That I quite enjoyed that. So it's obviously got some grit to this house and the story behind it.
Thank you, Emma. Craig, would you like to add something?
Yeah, just really quickly. I'm in support of this, and the more I sit with it, the more I get I feel the emotion in this. It feels, you know, it's abandoned and unloved, and yeah, I enjoy it.
Thank you. Back to you, Catherine.
Yeah, thanks, guys. And I guess like one more thing to add probably is this gives me a feeling of sort of real nostalgia. I actually feel like I could be looking at a print now. I could be looking at something that's in a museum from many, many decades ago. So I feel like that has sort of a timeless quality with that. Yeah, I'm looking for a silver with distinction.
Thank you, judges. Please rescore. And we have a silver distinction at 86. Okay, thank you for that. Can I have the next print, please? And we have a score of 81, silver award. And can I have a comment from Craig? Thank you.
Yeah, I thought this was really fun. Shags are not waterproof, so why not put a hat and goggles on? To improve it, I would just look a little bit at the cutting out and the masking around the feet and the tail. It needs a little bit of work down there.
Thanks, Craig. Can I have a blank screen? I'm just going to do a little judge shuffle. Emma and Marima, can you please take a break? And I'd like Rachel and Amber to join us, please. Next print, please. And we have a score of 75, bronze award. Can I have a comment for the photographer, please? Sarah Lee?
What a really interesting study of textures and water running across sand. I think if that was your intention, to really isolate just that and perhaps crop it in so there isn't the distraction of what's happening on the left and the right, and the left with the heavy vignettes as well is a little bit confusing. So just keep working at this concept and keep refining it, because it's something we can all relate to. But well done to the photographer for your score.
Thank you, Sarah Lee. Can we have the next print, please? We have a score of 80, a silver award. And can I have a comment for the photographer, please? Sarah Lee?
Congratulations on your silver award. I love the anonymity of this, is that the right word? Where we're not 100% sure what sort of animal, creature or figurine we're looking at, and it leads us to imagine a whole lot of different things. What is it that we're looking at, and what are we looking through to create that beautiful distortion as well? Perhaps a little bit more in terms of the figures that are in there, something for more for us to look at, because once we see that that's perhaps what the shape is, that's as far as we go. So more exploration on it, and then the print ain't quite lined up with the edge of the mat on the right, which is a little irk too. So,
Thank you so much for those comments. Can I have the next print, please? And we have a score of 80, silver award. And Catherine would like to challenge that.
Yeah, I was on 87 with this. Yeah, just the level of detail in here and the sort of angular sections that almost feel like they're sort of breaking through the ice. And then you've got the layers where it's submerged behind. I find that really beautiful. The level of detail throughout all of this is just absolutely sublime. Yeah, beautiful tones as well.
Thank you, Catherine. Can I hear from Rachel, please?
Yeah, I scored the 77, nice solid bronze. I needed a bit more of a narrative or story. I feel like there might be something in here that I'm not quite getting. I can see that there's a slight defrosting starting to happen on one of the edges of the petal details, but I'm not quite connecting a narrative through to it. So if you can give me a bit more there, then I'm happy to look at coming up.
Thanks for that, Rachel. Can I hear from Sarah Lee?
I scored this a 78, and I will probably be coming up to about 80. For me, I love the tropical water lily in a frozen water. I think there's a wonderful little play off that sort of theme there. I don't think it'll go up any higher. I feel that it's very sort of top heavy on the left, just with that little bit of shadow that's happening or the darkness of whatever's behind the ice. It's a beautiful still image though, so it's a lovely capture.
Thank you, Sarah Lee. And back to Catherine.
Thank you for knowing your flowers. And that makes it, that gives Rachel a narrative. Just with that sort of left heavy, you know, I do feel like this is, you know, nature's piece that stands upright, but it's in ice. It's, you know, it's partway to death. It shouldn't be straight. It should be on a lean. There's imperfections in the way it is partially weathering below the ice, but then still commanding our eyes and coming out. If you can't come up and join me in silver with distinction, maybe just bring it up a few points.
Thank you, Catherine. Judges, please rescore. And we have a score of 82, silver award. Next print, please. We have a score of 78, bronze award. Oh, Amber, you'd like to challenge?
I would like to challenge. I have scored this an 83 in the silver range, purely for the reasons that this photographer has managed to craft a really successful composite out of two things that I honestly cannot find a relationship with, fish and hydrangea petals. But I think that it's actually worked to create really quite a beautifully cohesive image out of two very unlikely components. So I think we're close. Just bump it up a few more, please.
Thank you, Amber. Can I hear from Craig?
Yeah, I'm at 72 on this. I didn't bring it into awards range because there were a couple of technical things that bothered me. There's some softening and bleeding of the fish and the flowers down in the bottom left kind of side of the circle there. And I thought that the white of the eyes was just so stark from inverting the colours on this that I think it just took it out of the beauty that the flowers would add into a kind of weird and creepy fish heads kind of thing.
All right, and Rachel, you've got something to add?
Yeah, I scored this 76. I'm just about convinced, Amber. I've been looking at it, trying to work out a connection between the hydrangeas and the snapper. It's actually reminded me of the patterns on my grandmother's old dresses that she used to wear. It's that whole retro floral thing going on there that I quite like. And so I was thinking, oh, well, maybe there's something in that, and maybe Granny was just really snappy. I don't know. Or maybe she liked fish head soup, I don't know. But it is creating little stories for me, and so the longer I sit with it and the more stories I sort of have running through my head, the more appealing it becomes.
And Catherine?
Yeah, I was on 82, and I mean, those eyes that are white, I feel like because the heads feel like they are actually cut off and they're just like floating heads, it almost makes sense that those eyes are white, stark and milky.
Yeah, back to you, Amber.
Well, it sounds like we're actually, apart from Craig, all in relative agreement on this. And to be honest, Craig, I don't have an explanation for your first point, but weird and creepy, honestly, I thought you were into weird and creepy. So I think you should join us up here in the silver range. Come on up, it's fun up here.
Excellent. Judges, please rescore. And we have a silver award at 80. Can I have the next print, please? Thank you, judges. We have a score of 82. And Catherine would like to challenge.
I was on 86 with this one. This felt like a alternative viewpoint on a lone tree, even though we know it's not a lone tree. It is about that hero in the middle. And despite the fact that there's a lot going on in this image, that tree is allowed to be the star of this, and it's in its own space. Yet we have so many different layers. You know, the composition coming through up with the barbed wire on the right-hand side and coming through, and then there's three sort of really linchpin fence posts in the front, which, you know, just pull us up. And then there's a sort of bedlam of layers of fence posts and grass and flowers and, you know, the power poles coming round. And there's a beautiful texture that runs throughout the sky, but it's not overbearing. and it sort of just pulls everything in together. Just layers and layers in here, beautiful warm tones, the matting colour, soft and gentle, just like the tones in the print.
Thank you, Catherine. Can I hear from Craig, please?
I'm on 80, so definitely see this in the silver range. I like what I like what you said, Catherine. I can't see any reason why I wouldn't come up now. Really, it is beautifully done and it's absolutely beautifully printed. Yeah, so I think I've been a bit tight, and I'll come up into distinction range.
Okay. Anyone dying to say something? Yeah, Sarah Lee.
I just want to compliment the toning of the black and white. I think it's beautiful and it really adds that timeless warmth to the image, so good choice with that one.
Awesome. All right. Back to you, Catherine.
Sounds like at least 1, 2, 3. So yeah, I think it's absolutely beautiful, beautiful, creative yet timeless interpretation of this lone tree.
Thank you. Okay, let's rescore, please. And see, there we go, 85, silver distinction. Okay, can I have a blank screen, please? Just going to do a little judge swap. I will get Sarah Lee to please step off and have a break. And can I have Emma back on the panel, please? All right, next print, please. And we have a score of 80, a silver award. I'd love to hear from Rachel, please.
Yeah, I really found the triangles and the swirls reminiscent of the little kids' blowy things, windmill things that you used to have. I really enjoyed that, and I think that the matting is a really brave choice, but I'm not too convinced that it actually added anything to the subject for me. And so, yeah, that just left me with a question that I couldn't answer.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Next print, please. Judges, we have a score of 82. And Craig, would you like to challenge that?
Yep.
Thank you.
So I'm on 87 on this one. I think there's a beautiful dance between the two images here in colour and shadow, and I feel that it's kind of alien-like on the right-hand side and a little bit bird-like on the left-hand side, and I just love that balance between the two. So I would love to hear from my fellow judges.
Thank you, Craig. I'd like to hear from Catherine.
I was excuse me, at 78. I felt like the right one has sort of an elegance to it, and the left one feels a bit more clunky. And then I find I actually spend more time in the left one. The red fabric and the shadow is holding me down there. Maybe I've been a little bit light on 78, and looking forward to hearing more.
Thank you, Catherine. Has anyone else got something dying to add? No? Rachel?
I scored this in the silver range, and one thing that I've noticed as I've been sitting here is that the image on the right and the bit of red that's wafting out of that frame is actually bringing me right back round into the image on the left with touch of red as that comes in, and so that's actually adding a lot of connection for me between the two images, and I think that that's helped me.
Thank you, Rachel. Back to you, Craig.
Yeah, I like those shadows. I think that you've got that triangle in the bottom left, and you've got that little triangle piece coming in there. It's like there's a lightness in the right-hand side. The shadows have lifted, and I agree, Rachel. You know, it has got that flow that brings you around and comes through that circular motion. So, yeah, I would love to see this in the distinction range.
Thank you, Craig. Judges, please rescore. And we have a silver distinction at 85. Congratulations to the photographer. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 80, a silver award. Can I get a comment from Amber? You seem to enjoy this one.
I do enjoy this. It feels like feels almost more like a digital painting than a photograph. In a good way. I really enjoy that about it. I think that the only thing that held me, I gave this an 83, and the only thing that held me back from going higher was there's a few sort of subtle, murkier, straight line textures in some elements within all the busyness that's going on here, and I actually felt that sort of took a little bit of the magic away from it. But I think that it's a really artfully constructed and beautiful colour palette. The whole thing's really vibrant and exciting. Well done.
Thank you, Amber. Can we have the next print, please? Scores, please, judges. And we have a score of 82. Yeah, Rachel, would you like to challenge? Thank you.
Yeah, I scored this 88, silver distinction. I found it's really grounding me, but I also love that there's an expression in there of power and aggression, and I feel like there's some sort of ice monster there flipping the bird at me, and I just think that for that to be captured in such a way and shown to us constructed from a landscape is just really, really clever. The presentation's stunning. The glittery paper adds texture and depth to the highlights within the image, so it keeps your eye busy without you feeling that there's blown spaces. Yeah, it worked really, really well, and I put it into silver distinction.
Thank you, Rachel. I'd love to hear from Amber, who's in the bronze range.
Yeah, I was down on 77 for this because I was just searching and searching for something more than the landscape aspect, and I can see that now from back here. And I really, really normally love this kind of style, but for some reason I'm not having any kind of emotive response to this image, and I'm not quite sure why, because I can see that figure in there. Yeah, I don't know. I need a bit more.
Okay. Can we hear from Catherine?
Yeah, I'm on 81 and I'm probably fairly happy there. That figure absolutely jumped out at me immediately. But when I got in there, I'm sort of not quite rewarded. I feel like there's a huge band with very little detail in it. And that's just sort of holding me back. You know, I do think it's worthy of a silver, beautiful colour and the printing's beautiful, all those things. But I just feel that it's not, it's still a good award for me, but I'm not probably up quite in the distinction range.
Okay, so this might be a bit of a hard sell. I think that, Catherine, you said that the figure exploded out at you. It's exploding out in such a powerful way, and that actually hit me in quite an emotional level, and so that's why I went into that distinction range. I think that it does that quite successfully, but obviously if no one else is with me, then so be it.
All right, judges, please rescore. And we have a score of 83, silver award. And that was our last print entry. And we will take a 5-minute break while we swap over to our digital entries. Don't go too far. We'll resume very shortly. Thanks everyone, and welcome back to the creative category. We're just going to wrap up with our digital entries this evening. And we have got Craig, Rachel, Emma, Amber and Catherine back on the panel. And we're all ready to go? Yep. Cool. First image, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 79. And Rachel, you're able to challenge.
Yeah, I scored this 82 silver. I found it a very restful, delicate, gentle image, and very peaceful. I could spend quite a lot of time with it, and I rewarded it with the silver for that.
Thank you, Rachel. Can I hear from Craig?
Yeah, I was at 76 on this one, and I guess for the same reasons as you, Rachel. I found it quite restful. I think the crop doesn't need to be square. I think if you just went vertical with it, then really played on that that upward motion that you've got there with that little bit of blur that you've got in this, then that would really play to the strengths of the image and elevate it a bit further for me. Yeah, so I think it sits well in bronze, this one.
Thank you, Craig. Anybody have anything to add? Amber?
I'm in support of silver with this image too, Rachel. I think that the quiet, subtle beauty of it is really, really well crafted, and I love the very subtle textures of what I think that this is a tulip, but I'm not actually really sure, of the petals at the top there. I like the fact that this image is quite symmetrical, but then there's just a few little bits that are asymmetrical within it. It's a really simple composition. I do actually agree with you, Craig, about the sides. I don't think that all of that negative space is needed at all. But that is not enough to hold it down into the bronze range. I do think this sits in silver.
Thank you, Amber. Rachel?
Yeah, I think just to add to what Amber has said, I also really enjoy the gentle feeling of embrace in the way that the petals are just folding over each other. I think that that's really helping with that peaceful, restful, safe feeling. And I think we can easily miss or understate those types of elements. So please come up to silver.
Thank you, guys. Please rescore. And we have a silver award at 81. Next image, please. We have a score of 72. Can I get a little bit of help for the photographer? Thanks, Craig.
I really like the kind of skeletal X-ray feel of this. I think that there's something to explore in that. What lets it down, I think, is first of all with the presentation, you have the two images separated by the thinnest line that is barely visible, so that it actually serves as a distraction, and you actually actively looking at it to see what it is. And then you've got the left image has got, I don't know if it's a vase or something, there's the hard piece at the bottom of that really pulls you away from that skeletal feeling. So a little bit of refinement with this idea, and I think you're onto something.
Thanks, Craig. That's great feedback. Next image, please. Thank you, judges. We have a score of 76, a bronze award. Can I have some feedback for the photographer, Amber?
Congratulations on your bronze award. This is a really well-crafted, beautiful portrait of a pom-pom dahlia, and I like the fact that you have presented this in black and white. I think in order to elevate this image, you really just need to bring something extra to the table. So a little Easter egg in there somewhere, maybe an insect, or just something a little bit more. But it is a really beautiful image.
Oh, Craig just wants to add something.
Yeah, just really quickly, I would have gone way higher with this if the front part of the flower was as sharp as some of those other petals.
Thanks for that, Craig. Next image, please. And we have a score of 74. Can I have some feedback for the entrant, please, Craig?
Yeah, I think this is another nice idea to explore a little bit further with the abstraction and the refractions on the water. There are some pretty major technical issues with chromatic aberration here that you need to address, and that's, a pretty easy thing to fix.
Thank you, Craig. Next image, please. And we have a score of 81. Silver award. Oh, sorry, Craig, you wanted to take the challenge.
I'll take it.
Thank you.
I scored 88. I find this beautiful to look at. I love the textures that have been introduced in the post-production with that kind of graininess that adds to the softness of this, that just keeps that delicate feel. I really enjoy how it's quite dark in that centre and it just falls off beautifully as you get further out. Yeah, so I've put this at 88 in the silver distinction range.
Thank you, Craig. Can I hear from Rachel, please?
Yeah, I scored this 77, a high bronze, pretty much for all of the reasons that Craig mentioned. I have a nice feeling from the image that it could be constructed out of gently rolled paper or something, as well as being a flower. So that I love the way that the photographer has captured that in the petals, but I didn't get anything more than just the simple beauty. So if you can give me a little bit more.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. You got a little bit of support there with Amber. Have you got something you'd like to add?
I don't think I could go to silver distinction, but I have snuck this into silver. I scored this an 80. I agree. It is a very, very beautiful, calm, lovely piece of art. I think, and I really appreciate the very, very soft graduation out to white. It is beautiful. I feel like it needs a little bit, something extra in order to bring my score up to a silver distinction.
Back to you, Craig.
Rachel, you said love a few times there, and love doesn't sound like bronze to me. I don't need more, Amber. I think that the beauty of nature that's been captured here is, and the vision that has given us that soft feeling and the grain, I think that's enough. I think that just elevates it slightly for me. Yeah, let's see if we can give it a few more points.
Thank you, judges. We did get a few more points. We're at 84. Silver distinction. No, silver award. Next image, please. We have a score of 81, and Amber would like to challenge.
So this was the something extra that I was looking for. I gave this an 88, and this is just a very unique point of view to photograph this flower from. When I first saw this image come up, it actually looked to me like a sea creature, something otherworldly, and upon closer inspection I do think this is probably another dahlia. I know why you guys, I know why you guys are down lower than I am, and it's for the bleed off maybe in those edges. But if you think about this as an artwork and focus on the dance that all of those beautiful petal tips within the centre there are making, your eye travels around everywhere. It's exciting, and this has something extra.
Thank you, Amber. Can I hear from Catherine, please?
I was on 77 and yeah, the floating aspect of it, to me, I struggle a little bit with. I love the sort of wild appearance of this. Feels like it's shaking its hair and getting all crazy. And the other probably aspect that I appreciate is the lighting from the right-hand side, which feels really congruent with the direction of most of the petals. I do struggle with on the left-hand side, this sort of piece that we've just lost a lot of information, or there's not much in there that I'm struggling a little bit with. I think my 77 was too light, so I'll come into silver, but probably not in the distinction range.
Rachel, you'd like to add something?
Yeah, Amber, I'm really close, so I'm going to come up and support you with that. I'm at 84, so silver distinction, I can jump there easily. From here, I thought it was smoke or wafting patterns, even some sort of kelp type underwater shot, and I wasn't disappointed with anything when I looked into it further. The details in there are really, really stunning. I think the heaviness anchors us into all of those fine details and the delicacy within that, so I'm happy to come up.
Thanks, Rachel. Back to you, Amber.
Thanks, Rachel. Great, I'm glad that you're keen to come up into the silver range, Catherine, and I think that you actually, the more you spoke about it, the more I saw in it, with the lighting aspect that you're talking about, the lighter side on the right and the darkness on the left. I actually think that really adds to this image. It sort of, it almost turns this flower into some kind of a being, and I just really think that adds to the majesty of this piece. So I'm on 88. Definitely give this as many more points as you can, please.
Rescore, thanks, judges. And we have a silver distinction at 85. Great discussion there. Can I have the next image, please? Just like to remind folks who are still with us tonight that you can still vote for the Ian Poole Memorial Award. The award is in memory of Ian Poole for our top judge this year, as voted for by the audience. You can vote at the NZIPP table in the foyer. So if one of our judges today has done an exceptional job that you feel, go and throw them a vote. We have a score of 74. And that's a professional practice. Could I have a comment for the photographer, please, Rachel?
Yeah, I think that there's a story here. I'm not quite capturing it. There's a correlation between the left image and the warmth and the sun, and then the cool tones on the right are conflicting with that in some way, and I don't know if there's supposed to be communication there about the emotion of the mother perhaps in and around that, but it's not quite making the story well enough heard for me to take it any further than that.
Thank you very much for that, Rachel. And that is the end of the creative category for 2024. Thank you so much to Nikon for sponsoring the creative category and for Sony for sponsoring the awards. Thanks to all of our judges today for sticking with us. It's dinner time. I think that's where we're all off to. You all did a wonderful job. Thanks, Carla. Thanks, everyone. Hang around just to see if you're going to be required for your finals judging. Thank you.